Good morning, everyone. It's Meet Me at the Sewing Machine. Can you believe it? I think we are maybe 2 or 3 weeks we skipped. I don't remember how many, but Peter's been gone. I've been gone. My goodness. It looks like that we would all get back to work and do some sewing, don't you think? I hope you guys have been sewing. It's February the 14th, 2022. We're here at Always in Stitches in Noblesville. And boy, a lot's happened since I last talked to you. I went on a retreat. That was gobs of fun. We went to Shipshewana and we got snowed in. It was awesome. It was fabulous. I mean, if you're going to get snowed in, you might as well be with your sewing buddies and your sewing machine and all the fabric you can sew. Today, I thought we would do a churn dash. I thought I'd focus on some traditional fun blocks. I like to make, you know, the last quilt I showed you with the potato chip block. I think that was a 4-inch finished block, but I love to make 4-inch finished blocks, so I'm going to share something with you exciting today, okay? So, before I got started with that, I was out at the bookshelf, and I noticed that one of my very most favorite designers, Paula Barnes, and Mary Ellen Robinson, they have a company called Red Crinoline Quilts. And this is their newest book, and I thought I would show it to you because it is scrappy patterns perfect for block swaps with friends.
Block swap.
Isn't that going to be, wouldn't that be fun? If we started a block swap with our friends, I'd love that. But this has got some really nice blocks that you can learn and some quilts that you can do. I love that quilt. Don't show them this page. Okay, good.
I'm only doing the pictures.
Okay, thank you.
These things are copyrighted.
Yeah, these things are copyrighted. So we're only going to show you the pictures. We can't show you the actual measurements. But isn't that stunning? Now, that's nice in blue, but, you know, there's a new green collection out there that I would have to go through and get some green. Now, I'm not much for the Tree of Life, but I think this is really up my alley because I love the colors. I love how they set it on those on point. First of all, trees are the Tree of Life is always usually set on point, and then how they've alternated it with that nice big block between. I think that's really pretty. And they've used all different backgrounds. Scrappy, you know, I love Scrappy. Scrappy is one of my favorite things. Love me some Scrappy. Now, I think this quilt is absolutely the bee's knees right here. They took a big half square triangle and they surrounded it by baby half square triangles. And isn't that just beautiful? And
It's the piecer's dream. Somebody who loves to piece.
Right. And you know what? If you've been doing what I told you to do about when you get done with your projects and you cut the rest of your things up into squares and strips, you could probably do this in no time. Right.
They all be squared up already.
Half square triangles there.
With your little
and good to go.
Square off ruler.
This is a really pretty one. This is an unusual block. I can't say that I've ever even made this block.
I haven't seen it before.
It's really pretty.
Look at that quilting.
Yeah. See, that's what's nice about given a nice big area. Your quilter can really jazz the quilt up with some fancy schmancy quilting. Isn't that beautiful? I just love how the border pulls it all together.
I was just looking at the inner border and how it pulls out
all the lights, but
blocks.
then this outer border just pulls in all those colors. I bet she designed that fabric. She's a fabric designer for Marcus Fabrics. Now here's another stunner.
These always look cool.
Yeah. Now see, all it is a big half square triangle and a block of half square triangles. But again, all scrappy.
And it gives it a diagonal pattern, and you didn't have to
think really hard to do it. Look at that. It just happens automatically with this big half square triangle that you set in there.
It's a Tetris quilt.
Love it, love it, love it.
What else you got?
Oh, listen, this book just goes on and on and on. Look at this. If you're a red lover, and who wouldn't be? Today's Valentine's Day, you know. Did you buy your wife something nice for Valentine's Day, Peter?
I actually did something better.
Oh, what'd you do?
I shaved and got a haircut.
Oh, is that what
Cleaned
she
myself
wanted?
up.
Is that what she
Yes,
wanted? Oh,
yes.
how special for her. Okay, well, I think that one's interesting. Now, that's a little bit
wait,
busy for
hold
me.
on. I'm like seeing.
You're trying to process
I'm trying
it?
to see if there's a star in there because I saw star points, but it doesn't look like they correlate. It looks like it's square and a square.
It's 2 blocks is what it is. It's this little block right here, which is the hourglass block.
Okay, hourglass.
And then it's this block right here, which is a 4-patch, a solid, a 4-patch, a solid.
Got it.
So see, and it makes a secondary. Really, it's sort of like an Irish chain in a way because you get these chains going through. That's what stands out to me.
That's slick.
Yeah, that's what stands out to me.
A 4-patch with a single square.
But the middle ones, they're kind of dark. And then here they're light. And then in this row, they're dark.
That would make a beautiful quilt.
Yeah, that's a pretty quilt. It's a little busy for me.
Especially with the Three Sisters blue that we have.
Yeah, there it is again, hanging on a line.
Ooh.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
That might be my favorite.
Of all the quilts in the book, this one's my favorite right here.
Because that last one, it's easy piecing, but it makes it look a very complicated pattern.
I know, it makes it look complicated, definitely. This is nice.
Stars for days.
Yeah.
This would be a good cheddar and coal.
This would be a beautiful cheddar and coal quilt. The block right here is right here, and then it's got the sashing with the big cornerstones. I just love that block.
Oh, I like, this piece right here where it's got the half square triangle and the two. Are those quarter squares?
This right here is a half of an hourglass, really, and then really it's a half square triangle with a corner connector on it.
I like making those blocks.
Yeah,
but this is different.
Maybe we'll make
those. It's got the corner flippers.
Right, it's got a half square triangle. Maybe we'll make that some.
You like my terminology? Corner flipper?
Yeah, corner flipper. Now, my friend Peggy Peg Peter, she loves the Friendship Star, and this is the Friendship Star, and this would be one really good block to do an exchange because it's a Friendship Star, and they're not hard to make. It's 4 half square triangles, 4 solid blocks on the corners, and 1 solid block in the center. So they're not very hard to make, especially with the way I'm going to show you how to make half square triangles today.
Is that the friend that you got a quilt with at where you got snowed in on the Shipshawana?
That's Peggy Sanguinetti. Peter also was there.
Okay, you showed a picture, and I had to laugh because I think she showed a picture of a pincushion. Was that her?
Yeah, that was Peggy Sanguinetti.
Okay, and I so wanted to comment because I was looking at what she had in her pincushion and how she had it, and I was like, oh, I bet you Dawn, that makes Dawn cringe.
It makes me a little nervous. Now look at this fun.
Whoa.
Look at how those 4 patches float. Isn't that interesting?
That's beautiful.
All because of the backing and the sashing. The sashing is just the same as the background. So it's kind of like ball and jack. You know what I mean? How a jack.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of that. A ball and a jack, because the ball in the middle and then the jack's on the outside. I don't know what she called it, but that's pretty cute, I think. So
gotta look and see how it's made.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's really easy.
It's deceptively easy.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just a 9-patch and a solid. So that's pretty awesome. Oh, sorry, I'm flipping there. Now this is really nice. It kind of looks patriotic, but it looks really, really, really vintage, doesn't it?
Oh, that's an easy one to make.
Oh, very easy. I love it. This block is 4 4-patches.
4 4-patches.
See, there's a 4-patch, there's a 4-patch, there's a 4-patch, and there's a 4-patch.
Oh my god.
So you put 4 patches together, and then you put them together and makes a 4 4-patches.
Very neat.
And then you set it with this. And you can't really see the quilting here, but it's the same quilting, that wreath, as that other quilt that we were commenting on.
And it's funny thing is, anytime I do borders, I always think of a different fabric. This
Uh-huh.
is a good example
It
of what it
floats.
looks like if you use the same
Same
fabric.
as the background.
Yes.
And it kind of floats, doesn't it?
But it's that inner border that gives you that separation.
It does. It
That's
really does.
neat.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
I love that.
So this is an awesome book. It's a new book. Quilt Club, it's called. I think I'm going to buy that book today.
I think I might have to get that as well.
Yeah. And then if you like to piece little and Scrappy, Lisa Bongean, she's another one of my favorite designers.
I haven't seen this book.
Yeah, this is Little Gatherings, and I adore this quilt. It's the potato chip block, but instead of having a solid center, it's a 9-patch. And you know I love to make me a 9-patch.
I could make that all day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love making me a 9-patch. And then they're set on point. You know, anytime you want your quilt to be bigger with less work, you set them on point because it makes the quilt bigger instantly.
So if you're making some beautiful blocks.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, set them on point.
Hey, that's a wonderful. That is worth the price of admission.
Right there, isn't it? Now I love the way she combines wool with her fabrics.
Does?
Yes, look at this block, this little basket block. How she dresses it up. You know, it could be pretty. It's just a plain basket block, but look at how she comes in and she adds this little motif of wool on top of the baskets, and it just takes it up a step, don't you think?
We have a viewer who has a channel, and she does a lot of hand stitching on her channel. I could totally see her getting into something like this.
Yeah, yeah.
If she doesn't already.
Yeah.
That's
I think
cool.
It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
That's fun.
I'm just going to show you.
I feel like
I've done this quilt. Now, this quilt is as big as a pot holder. Look at all those. I'm not kidding. This quilt only measures 11 inches. 11 inches by 11 inches, that whole quilt.
It's a mouse pad.
It's unbelievable. Well, here, look. Here it is with a dime on it.
It's a mouse pad quilt.
Look. The blocks are smaller than a dime. So that's pretty funny. This is one of my favorite blocks.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that pretty?
This is fun. Okay. This is a really cool block.
Yeah.
Because of the little... You got the dark triangles on the light triangles.
Triangles. You forgot.
It sparkles.
You kind of forgot the word triangles, but
I did.
But brain bumps happen to us all. But look at how pretty that is.
Just trying to think.
And this is a good right here.
It's
great
still Monday
example.
Morning.
Right. It's a great example of simplicity quilting really adding to the mood of the quilt. Because this quilt has a lot going on inside here, it doesn't need a lot of foofy quilting. So this grid quilting, I think, really enhances the feeling of the quilt. I love that.
And I like the different color backgrounds of each star.
Yeah. There's some more potato chip blocks. This one's got a square and a square in the middle.
She must also be a fabric designer.
She is. Her name is Lisa Bongean. She designs for Moda. Now, look at this border. That is pieced.
Yep.
And those blocks are about 1/2 inch big.
Hold on. This is going to take me some time to... Oh, my. Look at the
process
quilting.
that. Now, you would think that that's foundation pieced. It is not foundation pieced.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. That is...
I like it when I get to do the piecing myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Paper's just...
Oh, look, here it is on a penny. Look at that. The whole block.
That's right. I
this
love
whole
that.
4 patches as big as a penny.
I love it.
That's crazy. Lisa and I, we love to sew together because we love the same kind of things.
And there's a lot of quilts in this book. She's just showing you the highlights.
Yeah, look
that are her
at this
favorite.
with the sawtooth
So we're kind of
star.
skimming through it, you guys. Now, love the white background because you can really see that quilting.
Uh-huh. Isn't that pretty? But again, it's not over quilted. You know what I'm saying? The quilting really enhances the design of the quilt.
I'm really loving this border around that block.
Isn't that pretty?
That's sweet.
Yeah. And I love how she brought this sawtooth around to the outside. That girl loves her some half square triangles, let me tell you. And the smaller she can do
I think she
the
makes them in
better
her
she
sleep.
does them. I think she
You know how
does too.
people sleepwalk?
Now, this is one of my favorite quilts in the whole book right here. all because it's really scrappy. But look how she's got 2 rows on that half square triangle kind of piece. I love that. I just love that.
Does it alternate too with its neighbor?
Uh-huh.
Dark light. So
Yeah.
the
Right.
corner's dark there and it's light there.
So here she's put dark here, light here, but over here she's put light down here and dark down there. So she's alternated
You
them.
get like a little mini block in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, you know how I love a 9 patch. So I got to go home and make that because that one's really pretty. And then this last one that's in the book is stunning. This was a fabric she designed for Moda. And it was the cheddars and greens and reds. Oh, yum. Reminds me of coxcomb. Did you ever grow coxcomb in your garden?
Mm-mm.
It's very pretty. And that's what this reminds me of.
I'm liking the effect of that too.
Yeah. So then, when I was
color
out
play.
there, I found this book.
What'd you find?
Schoolgirl Sampler. And this
Oh.
is not a new book. This is an
No.
older book.
I'm a fan though because if you have any, what am I trying to say, Dawn? Oh, and I love your new shoes, by
Well,
the way.
thank you.
Those are those new ones that you
Those
got
are the
at
ones
the
I showed you.
Ship Shawana.
Yeah.
I might get a pair too because
Yeah.
they look so cool.
They're cool.
Oh, so back to my thing. If you have like a bookcase of Civil War fabric you don't know what to do with,
Exactly.
I love this book.
This book.
Yeah.
Look, it's 72 simple 4-inch blocks. And you know I was telling you how I love to make 4-inch blocks?
Mhm.
I was wondering if my Meet Me at the Sew Machine peeps would want to sew through this book with me. Every Monday, we could do a block out of this book.
Whoa, that would be.
We only have 3 in stock right now, but we can order more. But
If we get enough interest.
yeah, if you'd like to do this with us on Mondays, then in the comments put me, just with M-E-E-E-E-E, me, and then we'll know you want to do it.
So that's M and 3 E's.
M and 3 E's, me, and we'll do it together.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be a treat because see that quilt would be so beautiful.
Well, and you wouldn't even have to make this quilt. It's got 7 other little quilts that you can do with the blocks. So how much fun?
So you could invest
Mix it up.
invest as little or as much as you wanted to.
Right. And all you would need is just some scraps because they're 4-inch blocks.
I think the 4-inch blocks are very addicting.
Oh, they are. I love them. So if you guys want to do that,
So
let me know.
you could do a prescribed number, set them on corner,
Yeah, you could put them on point.
and then you could have like a very clean, elegant quilt if you wanted something that is very
Yeah.
classy.
Or you could take these and set them with a bigger sasheen. Or look, she just took 9 of them and made just a nice little cute quilt there.
That's really cool. That little mouse pad quilt.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's bigger than a mouse pad.
Well, actually, I have a little child's chair, and I have that on the seat of a child's chair. It's really cute.
Dawn, that just touched my heart.
Did it? Okay. So anyway, that was me being at the bookcase today. I shouldn't stop by there because I get into trouble.
What if we did a book review? Put in the comments if you'd like a book review every Monday.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Because we
wouldn't it?
get so many books.
We do. We
and
do.
they just come right like.
Oh, I'd love to do a book
past
review
us.
every month.
And then we can
Yeah.
banter
I mean,
back and
every
forth,
week
and
or
I can
whatever.
forget what the name of the blocks are, and you can remind me.
Right. Today we're going to focus on doing a churn dash. And I was out there. We always have a meeting in the morning. Everybody gets together.
Get all
And
fired up.
I saw this by the cash register because it's Valentine's Day, you know. So we pulled some of our hearts. And this is Hugs and Hearts or whatever, Hugs and Kisses or whatever it's called. I don't know. It's this one. It's February. It's an older pattern. It's from 2014. So it's an older pattern. We don't have a lot of them in stock, but we can order them. But isn't that cute? And I love the churn dash. I love making the churn dash, and I love how the churn dash looks. This is the churn dash right here.
That's fun.
And then these little hearts. Isn't that just cute? And again, you could make it scrappy. You can make it whatever you want. Now, I don't know about you. There's 101 ways to make a half square triangle. One of my favorite ways is with Thangles. Now, I don't know if we've ever talked about Thangles on this channel or not.
We talked about half square triangle papers.
But did we do that in the Moda, in the My Favorite Colors Moda?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we've done it on this channel.
I don't think we have.
Okay, so
No, you're right. We haven't.
Thangles comes in all sizes. I mean, from 1/2 inch finished all the way up to 6-inch finished. And when it says finished, that means when it's completely sewn into the block. So you buy them the finished size. These just happen to be 2-inch finished. And it says that one package makes 660 half square triangles from a 2.5-inch strip. Now, when Thangles first came out, I bought me a pack because, you know, I'm always having the latest and the greatest gadgets, you know. And I didn't like them. Oh, no. No, I wasn't going to have anything to do with those because I tried them and my half square triangles did not come out correct. And the reason is because I did exactly what it said in the instructions. I cut 2.5-inch strips for my 2-inch finished Thangles. And no matter how much I pinned, the fabric would slip underneath me. My feed dogs would move that fabric. And then my half square triangles didn't come out good. So what I've learned over the years
Of making 660,000.
6,000 of these half square these Thangles is when I get my Thangle, I get my fabric, I lay my Thangle on the side of my fabric right there. Can you see that I've laid it right on the side there? And I make it 1/4 of an inch bigger. 1/4 of an inch bigger than the Thangle. And I cut me a strip. Now, if I already have strips cut in my, this just happens to be, how big is this strip that I just cut? It just happens to be 2 3/4. So, I added 1/4 to the 2.5 it told me to cut. Okay? Now, what happens is, let me go get my pincushion. I can come over here. And I can move this so that it has a little bit of fabric on each side. And if it slips, it's still going to be okay because I have this extra fabric. So I'm going to pin this. Now I'm going to sew on these dotted lines. So when I pin, I don't really want my pin to be near those dotted lines. I'm just going to pin down there and pin down here. Now, if I want it to be really scrappy,
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
You got a bonus piece.
Well, my red piece is not as long as my short piece. I've got 2 pieces of fabric right sides together.
Oh.
See that? So, because my Thangle was longer than this piece, what I could do is see this extra margin down there?
Yep.
I could cut that off, which I normally do. I normally take a big old stack of them. Right like that. Get me a ruler. I make sure I don't cut into that line where I'm going to cut. I go about 1/8 of an inch away, and I cut that excess off because if I make allowances for that, then I'm wasting fabric. And you know me, I'm a frugal fabric lover, cutter. Now look at that. Fits on there perfect.
Boom.
Boom. See, I've got big margin up there, a little bit of margin up there, so I can take it all the way to the top up there. Make sure that there's some on each side. Now, I don't know why it is, but I always put the light on the top. I've told you that before, and I just don't know why I do it. I just do it. So I lay the fabrics with the right sides together and the light on the top, and I cut my strips. Now, if I wanted this to be really, really scrappy, what I could do is see how I've cut this one apart? Okay? So one sheet will make 6 half square triangles. If I only needed 4 half square triangles, see how I could take and I could go to my Thangle here, and on this line, I just cut one off. Now if I only needed 2 half square triangles, I've got one of these. So if I wanted to really scrap it up, I'd go along here and I'd cut me a bunch of these, just onesies. See that? Okay.
So that's pretty cool because if you're working from your scraps, you know, you're going to have different strip lengths when you get done with the quilt.
Right.
So you can work with ones or you can work with twos, 2 and 2 or 3s. That's really cool, Dawn.
Right, right. So let's go down here into my drawer and let's get us some 3-inch fabrics. This is not going to be big enough, I don't think. For one. Oh, it is. Look at that.
Nice.
Perfect. So see, I already had that cut.
I already had it.
Already had it cut. So I would have put the light on top. You know, I would have done it like that. But anyway. So that's right out of my scrap drawer. Isn't that awesome? Yes, Dawn, that's very awesome.
I was just admiring your pincushion.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was panning over to get a good shot of
Now,
it.
yeah, now Friday we've got a pincushion thing going on. Remember that? Okay, I'm going to go over to I'm going to need 4 half square triangles for my Churn Dash. I'm also going to need some strips. See, look. Here's the half square triangle. Here's the strips. See that? I'm going to need strips. So what I've done is, I've never done this before. I've never showed you this. But I'm going to sew some long strips. Now this was just some scrap fabric I had at home. Okay, out of my scrap bin. It was 2 fairly good sized pieces. And I just cut some strips and I cut this strip. So really I'm working with strips and a square. Now, my half square triangles, before they're sewn in, of course, has the seam allowance on them, right? So, they are, they're going to be 2.5 inch before I sew them in. 2.5 inches. I'm
panning down to your shoes.
Okay, check out those baby puppies. Aren't they pretty?
And you said your feet don't have to get cold now because they're
They
made
don't
of
get
wool?
cold at all. They do not get cold at all.
Ah, those are so
Aren't they
awesome.
cute?
Yes.
Love them, love them.
That's a wool lover's dream.
Wool, right there. I'm going to change out my foot. And the reason being is I like this big open toe here so I can see my lines better.
Okay, that's
So,
a good idea.
you know, it's super easy. Let me lift up my foot. Super easy to change the feet on this Janome sew machine. So I just put that down, snap that in place, and there I go. So there's that. All right, I'm going to lower the stitch length. Whenever I use Thangles, I always lower the stitch length because it perforates the paper better.
And does that help the papers come off when you're done?
Helps the papers come off easier. So my machine, let me clear this out. My machine is set at 2.2. I'm going to go down to 1.5. 1.5 in my stitch length. Okay? When I'm sewing on a Thangle, to kind of stabilize it, I'm going to sew through the middle first. So I'm going to sit that down.
Is that a Dawn hack or is that what the instructions say to do?
I don't know what the instructions say. It's been so long
that's a
since
Dawn hack.
Yeah, I just like to sew. And you're going to just sew right on that dotted line. And if I had more, you know, if I had to make 460, I'd just be chain piecing those puppies right through the sew machine, right on through. But since I only have one here, I'm going to go ahead and sew this one. Turn it around. And this makes having this cutting thing on my sewing machine so nice. My scissors, because I can just cut. Okay, let me sew this one.
So if you had a stack of these puppies, you'd do that middle one, then you do
on all
of them, then you go back and do this bottom on all
of them.
Okay.
I would just keep doing the same one on all of them. Yeah, just
put the pedal to the metal.
Just feeding them through. Now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pick up one of these strips. I'm going to clear my sewing machine so that oh shoot, no I'm not, because I got a wrong foot on here. Let me just continue making these. Let me just continue sewing these for a minute. Don't run over your pins, of course. Where'd my pin cushion go? My lovely pin cushion. Now, my sewing machine at home doesn't have that automatic cut. I really like that.
It'll spoil you.
It will. And look at how fast this goes.
I can imagine if you're chaining these, I mean, you get these done in no time at all.
Right, exactly. Okay.
And you can get, like, the kids involved, too. Like, say, hey, I need you to just take these papers off when they're all done.
Oh,
like,
listen,
it's something you can involve them
the
with.
grandkids love to do that. The kids love to do it. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, I put my 1/4-inch foot back on. I'm going to clear out my sewing machine so that my stitch length goes back to normal. And I'm going to sew these strips. Now, when I do this, when I sew long strips like this, I tend to not want to sew over 18 inches. That's a 1/2 yard of fabric. And the reason being is because the fabric is so stretchy. And when you go to start pressing this, if you're not using your clapper, and we can say clappers now because we have a ton of clappers, if you're not using your clapper, your strip, your nice long strip, will get crooked when you're pressing it. And you don't want that. You don't want a strip that looks like a dog's hind leg. You know how a dog has a crook in its hind leg?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you call it when your fabric does that. So I'm just, and again, this was just scraps out of my scrap pile. So I didn't even cut it to any certain length. I just, whatever the length was that was there, I just cut a little piece off. These are 1.5-inch strips. I had to do a little math because my Thangles are 2-inch finished. These have got to finish 2 inches. Okay, so now look at that, exactly the size of my.
Look at that.
Was that planning or what?
Look at that.
Size of my clapper. Got my iron nice and hot, my little travel iron that I love to sew right here at my station.
Now that I'm back from vacation, I'm going to get the small clapper made up with my longer clapper.
Yeah. Did you watch our video that we put? No, you're going to have to do that today. Cappy and I made a video.
Oh, nice.
About the clapper.
Oh, cool.
And so you might want to watch that.
Okay.
And we talked about which size you should buy. And we came to the conclusion that you needed them both.
You do, because if you're doing pressing at
your sewing machine,
which I love to do,
you need a little one. And if you want to do a big one at your regular ironing board, now see how flat that is. But most of all, I want you to see how straight it is.
Yeah, it doesn't curve.
It doesn't get all wiggly. Okay, so let's come back.
Okay, stupid question on Churn Dash. Do you always marry a light to a dark?
You do.
And that's how you get the design, right?
That's exactly how you get the design. You always want contrasting. It doesn't have to be light to dark. It could be just two very different colors you know, but it's all about the contrast.
I always think contrast.
Yeah, contrast. Okay.
So you could have like a light green and a dark something else.
Right, right. Okay, so now I'm going to cut 2.5-inch squares out of this because before, well, let's cut the Thangle first. Okay, let's cut the Thangle first.
Let's get it.
That one's not long enough. I'm gonna have to use my big one, which is okay.
Which ruler? Which ruler?
Which ruler is the best? So what I'm going to do is the first thing. Now the instructions I know don't tell you to do this because it doesn't tell you to make your fabric larger than your Thangle. Okay, but now that I have those stitches in my Thangle, I can cut and get it to the exact size of the Thangle. So now...
So if it did shift or rotate because you're cutting
it's not going to.
It's all cleaned up.
Well, and it's not going to shift or yeah. If it had in the sewing, yeah. Look,
like
look,
if your cat,
right here.
Cat jumped in your lap, you know.
But look how that red is sticking out.
Yep.
So it did shift.
Yeah.
But because I'm cleaning it up after it's already sewn, it's very stable underneath me.
Nice.
And then that part just comes off. And then all the solid lines get cut. So I'm going to cut there. And you might think, boy, Dawn, this is a lot of work to get to a half square triangle. You know what? When you make half square triangles on their own, you have to square them up. Each individual half square triangle has to be squared up. When you do it this method, they're already squared up. That's what I'm doing right now. I only need 4, so I'm not going to do that one. I only need 4. So let's do this. Cut there. Now, also, one thing I can do is because this is the seam allowance, I can stack. And I can cut them at the same time because this is in the seam allowance, so it's not going to matter if it's perfect or not.
The other thing too, this is a great travel project because if you have say you had a bunch of these and you went ahead and you got your you got them cut down to squares, you can take them with you.
Yeah, and you had one of these little
and then just use scissors if that's all you got, and then just cut them on your lunch break or something down the middle.
Look, I'm going to take those little dog ears off.
Dog ears, dog legs.
Before I open them up.
A lot of dog parts.
A lot of dog parts today. Okay, so now these are perfect 2.5 inch. See, they're 2.5 inch right now because they're 2-inch finished. But before I sew them in, they've got the seam allowance on them. Now, did you see how easy that tore off?
No, you did it too fast.
Okay, let me slow down. I put my thumbnail right on the seam line there. And then I take this. I'm not even pressing them back or anything. I'm just pulling through the middle. And with my thumbnail, I just take that extra piece off. It just slides right off. And you can do this, while you're waiting for the oven to heat up or, just whatever. So there it is. And all you have to do now is go back and press. And when I press this open, you know how I love to press open, that's going to be 2.5 inches. Let me show you on my thing. Because it still has its seam allowance on it. I got to press it first. You know me. Press and open. Always press and open. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to measure this. Look at that. 2.5 inches, perfect. 2.5, 2.5. So I know now that I have to have my strips to be a 2.5 inch square. Yeah, 2.5. So two and a half, and I only need 4 of these. For some reason, I didn't do my 1/4 inch very good because I got a little extra sliver up there. But I'm making sure they're 2 1/2. Because that's what I do. Put that to the top. 2 1/2. Let me see if I scoot that down a little bit if I can't get another 2 1/2 out of there. See, I was being generous on that one side, and
Yeah, you were.
I thought, man, I better be a little bit more frugal.
You're like, let me dial that back in.
Yeah.
Let me rein myself.
And see if I can't get a 2 1/2 out of that. And voila, I can. Woo-hoo! Baby.
Bonus.
So I got 4 out of that strip. I didn't even need to make this extra strip. So, like I said, I didn't even measure them. See? Didn't even measure. So there's all my trash. Let's bring this over. All my trash. There's that. Bring this back over to my little design board that I always have here. I'm going to press these. Now, see, I pressed that, but I didn't set it with my clapper, so it wasn't as flat as it could be. Love my clapper. Did you watch the big game yesterday?
Parts of it. I don't know who won or...
Yeah, I'm not a sports person.
I was hand sewing while the game was going on.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was working on my English paper piecing.
Oh, nice. Nice. I was needle punching.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
I know what you were doing because I saw it on your desk.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I'll be doing a little thing on the YouTube channel later this week, maybe.
Oh, I
Probably
can't wait to
Friday.
film it.
Friday, probably. Okay, so I'm just going to set those there. And because when I made these and I pressed them while they were still together, they don't have to be pressed. They're already pressed.
I'm
so
impressed.
That was a time saver, wasn't it?
Yes.
So sometimes sewing a strip together and then subcutting is really worth the effort.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to make sure that you're accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All right, so here are let's lay these out. Here's my center square, not my center. It's not a center, it's just
not
a
a center?
center.
You
Center
don't
square.
go to have activities in the center?
No. And so there's that. There's that one. There's that one. And this is where the magic happens. I just love this. You know, if you just wanted to make scrappy half-square triangles all day long, make 4 of each, and you can make a zillion different kind of blocks with just 4 half-square triangles and adding other elements to it. It's pretty darn fun. I like it. So now, look what I'm going to do. This is my Churn Dash. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. Look at that.
Did you say you like to make these scrappy?
I love to make them
so
scrappy.
you'll take like different half square triangles and maybe different sections and mix them all up.
Mix them all up.
But the contrast still works.
Yeah.
So that you see the block.
But
you
most
have
of the time on a
different...
Churn Dash, these match these.
Okay.
Okay?
That's what makes it the Churn Dash.
Yeah. Now let me cut a 2 1/2 inch red.
This would be a lot of fun to make. Yep.
Yeah. Let me come over here and from my fabric, because I have some here, cut me a 2 1/2 inch red square. And if I just wanted, you know, it is Valentine's Day. Oh, got a little short there. Well, it's a good thing I had more fabric, huh? If I didn't, I'd just go and find another red. That would work. Got to thinking about Valentine's Day and lost my mind. Okay, come back over here and look what happens, Peter.
What's going to happen?
Now get that one in your mind, everybody, okay?
Okay, it's in my mind.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to cover the lens, but I forgot.
Look at this. If I just turned...
So they don't call it Churn Dash for nothing.
It's churn.
Oh, I thought it was turn.
No, it's churn.
I get it. It's because it's the end of a churn.
You're churning your butter with the
Yes.
Churn Dash.
Silly me. It's
Silly
Monday, you
you.
guys. I'm
Look.
still waking up, and it's my first day back from vacation, so I have brain fog.
Right. We had a red Churn Dash, and now we have a white Churn Dash.
Okay, and if you set it on point, it looks really cool.
Yes!
Because I'm kind of looking at on point. Let me turn the camera. Okay, not on point.
On point.
On point.
Awesome. Awesome. So see how if I did one block this way and one block the other way, how if I alternated them in the same quilt,
that's fun.
I'd have a beautiful quilt,
fun.
wouldn't I?
Yes.
Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of fun. You just sew them together like a 9 patch. And voila, you have the Churn Dash. Now, isn't that a fun block?
Very cool.
Okay, so everybody can make some Churn Dashes. If you want to participate in the Schoolgirl Sampler 4-inch blocks, let us know. If we get enough interest, that's what we'll be doing. Because I just love to make 4-inch blocks. You can do so much with them. And we can play around with our 4-inch blocks. And we can add our potato chip blocks to them because, you know, they were 4 inches.
Yes.
They're 4.5 inches before they're sewn in. So that's important to know, right?
Yes.
Right. So did everybody get to see the Chloe calendar? She's got a blue beard because Aunt Dawn was painting something and she decided to help. She decided she was going to help paint Aunt Dawn's project. So she got into the blue paint. But that's her. She's precious as can be, of course. And I hope you have a good day. I hope you make some Churn Dashes. You can start with any half square triangle size. And then just figure that your center has to be the same size. And that these have to be, your side bars have to be the same size. Okay? Alrighty. If you have any questions, let us know. Bye.